Hello and welcome to the 2026 Open Day Countdown, a series where we're counting down to opening day by briefing all 30 teams in MLB. Yesterday we spoke about the Miami Marlins, and today we'll be talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Last year, the Diamondbacks finished a record of 80 and 82, fourth place in NL West, and without further ado, let's get into it. So the Diamondbacks have a lot of top-end talent on the hitting side. Ketel Marte, Paulo Perdomo, Corbin Carroll, three very good hitters last year. All three received MVP votes. I believe all three were Actually, Perdomo wasn't an all-star, but the other two were. But all three were very good hitters. You can see WC Plus all above 130, and by BFA Plus agrees all above 130. And they're guys who, if you look at the platoon splits, again, they're good against righties, good against lefties. So there are two guys that are definitely going to be in the lineup every day, and you're hoping they'll be in the lineup every day. I know Corbin Carroll, he's sort of dealing with a hammy issue right now, so he may not be ready by opening day, but I have him penciled into the opening day lineup when we get to that. So, but outside of those top three guys, they don't really have that much top end talent, that much depth, I should say, actually. They do have Moreno, who's a very solid bat at catcher, and also he's very good defensively as well. But then Luis Guerrero Jr., he's out for most of the year with, I believe, an ACL injury. He WC Plus wasn't that great, but BFA Plus above average. And then Pavin Smith, he's someone who has platoon splits. You can see against righties, like he was actually below average, even though he's like sort of used as a strong side platoon hitter. And I think against lefties, small sample, but he was above average. So maybe he could play every day, but I think he ends up getting platooned just because only 24 play appearances against lefties. That's not really substantial. So yeah, he's sort of a platoon hitter, but against righties he wasn't that great. So not really sure what to do with him. Nolan Arenado, you're hoping for a bounce back out of him. He used to be like that top guy with the Rockies and the Cardinals. Trade in, it was essentially a salary dump by the Cardinals to the Diamondbacks, but he's still pretty good defensively, and offensively, you can see like doesn't strike out that much. He has a decent amount of walks. It's just barrels that's an issue, but he is a guy who pulls the ball in the air a lot. And actually, I believe the Chase Field, which is the Diamondbacks' home ballpark, is one of the best ballparks for right-handed pull hitters. So Arenado is someone who could probably overperform his BFIT plus just because, again, like I believe Busch Stadium, the Cardinals Park, is actually one of the worst as well. So a big gap in terms of uh, ballpark situation for Arenado. So he could be someone that bounces back. And then Carlos Santana, they signed him in the offseason. He's someone who could bounce back. Uh, again, like he's actually has reverse platoon splits, like against righty. Sorry, not reverse platoon splits. Just I should say short side platoon splits. Against righties, he's not that great, but against lefties, he's let me see. Yeah, above average, 109 BFIT plus, despite the 89 WC plus. And he's someone who I think will platoon with Peyton Smith when they're at full strength. But to start off, Santana will be the everyday first baseman just because Tyler Locklear, who was great at AAA but not so great in the majors, he's someone who uh, wasn't that great in the majors, but he's hurt to start the year. So when he comes back, you're hoping for the AAA performance, which was a 136 WRC plus, a 115 BFIT plus, which is definitely a lot better than what he did in MLB. Yeah, one more guy I want to touch on, Jordan Lawler. He was also not that great, but he's been pretty solid this spring, and also he's starting to learn the outfield. He's someone I think will probably be playing center field, or just like somewhere in the outfield. Like he's someone who again like uh short side platoon splits. Let me find him. Where is he? Lawler, like pretty average against lefties, but against righties, very bad. It's a small sample, but again, like better against lefties. You expect that from a right-handed hitter. And he's someone who I think, when they're at full strength, like Gurriel's playing every day, I think Lawler slides into that short side platoon role. But because Gurriel is hurt for most of the year, Lawler will probably be playing every day. So yeah, onto the pitching side. The rotation isn't too great. Like by BFIP, their best arm is Soroka, and he's someone who had a pretty bad ERA. I know he had a pretty good peripherals just generally. Like XER is good at was high on him. BFIP was high on him as well. But then when he got traded to the Cubs, uh, he got hurt pretty quickly. So he was never really had the opportunity to regress positively back to his peripheral stats. So yeah, you're sort of hoping from a full season out of him, or I don't think he sticks in rotation the full year, just because like you have Mil Kelly, Corum Burns who are coming back from injury, and at full strength you probably have Nelson, Kelly, Burns, Rodriguez, Gallon, like 5 of those 6 guys in rotation. And so Soroka, if he doesn't sustain this level of production, and also like he's someone who does have an injury history, so like you might just move into bullpen anyways. But like, if he doesn't sustain this production in rotation, he's someone you can easily move to bullpen, and he has proven he can be good in that role. But yeah, Ryan Nelson, pretty good arm, 3.39 ERA, 3.77 BFIP. Mil Kelly might not be on the opening day rotation. He's suffered from an injury. Corbin Burns also might miss some time. I believe he's still recovering from Tommy John, so like he'll be back like sometime in the around the All-Star break maybe. And then Gallon, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brandon Fott. Below average by ERA, below average by BFIP. You're sort of hoping for bounce back for Gallon, and then also the other 2 guys, so good innings eaters. I guess Gallon as well. Like you'll get good innings out of him. If they underperform, then you can sort of bounce them into maybe long relief. Maybe I'm not too sure. Like when like Burns comes back, or Kelly won't miss too much time, but Burns is gonna miss like half the year. So yeah, let's move on to the bullpen. Again, there's a lot of guys who are missing time. Like AJ Puck and Justin Martinez are projected to miss. Uh, again, like they're on the same path as Burns, where they're probably going to be back around the All-Star break. These 2 guys were sort of their closers to start 2025, and then they both got hurt pretty quickly. So it's a big blow for the Diamondbacks. And then their closer entering this year was going to be probably Andrew Saalfrank. He's on had a 1.24 ERA, but BFIP wasn't too high on him, even though he had good FIP, good xERA. XFIP Sierra were low on him. BFIP also low on him. So he's someone I wasn't too high on if he was a closer. But he suffered, I believe, a shoulder strain, and now he's going to miss the entire year. So that's going to be a big blow, because he's someone who maybe if he pitched to this FIP, he could have been pretty solid back end of the bullpen arm. But yeah, not too great. The bullpen. They traded for Cage Chow this offseason. Very nice arm. 171 ERA. BFIP is higher on him. He's probably not going to pitch this ERA, but the BFIP is so solid. And Brandon Garcia, great stuff. He's a lefty, like low slot, sits like 97, I believe, so doesn't give up a ton of barrels, keeps the ball on the ground. ERA wasn't too great last year, but again, peripherals were high on him. I think he's someone who can really be a good piece for them. Taylor Clark, also a solid arm, doesn't walk many guys. Strikeouts below average, but when your walk rate is this low, well, free pass rate, this is basically walks plus hit pitches. So when your free pass rate is this low, you can generally have some pretty good numbers, as you can see here. Yeah, not much depth in the bullpen. Like I know Ginkgo and Seawald are probably going to be in the back end of that bullpen, but I'm not super high on either of them. Like the ERA wasn't that great, and also BFIP wasn't that great. So there are 2 guys that I like. They're probably going to be in the back end to start, and when we get into the pretty good line, so I'll touch on that. But I think by the end of the year, maybe you have like Puck and obviously where is he? Justin Martinez are also going to be in the back end by the end of the year. But in the meantime, I think if we're talking about like May or June, I think Cade Stroud is probably going to get some save opportunities. Maybe Brandon Garcia, just because he's a lefty. Sometimes you want that good lefty in there. And maybe Juan Rio comes up. I have Sean Dubin, and he's normally I only showed 40-man guys, but he's a non-roster invitee, and he's someone who had a pretty good BFIP despite the bad ERA, and I believe I have him in the predicted roster. Double check. yeah, he's on the roster as in sort of like that relief, like back, like low leverage bullpen arm. Yeah. So let's get into the hitting lineup first. Gabriel Moreno, everyday catcher. He's hasn't been healthy. Like he's had like years where he's been like sort of healthy, but not too healthy. Like again, last year was only 83 games. You're hoping for at least 120 from your primary catcher. You're not expecting them to play all 162, right? So, or you're still hoping for more than this, which is uh, only like half a season. But yeah, if you get like full season out of him with his defense above average hitting, that's gonna be great from your catching spot. First base has Santana every day. Again, he has very good defense. Offense a little bit to be desired, but again, like once Locker comes back, I think Locker, Santana, and Pavin Smith are sort of gonna share that first base and DH role. At DH, I have Pavin Smith uh, with platooning James McCann. I think, like when Locker comes back, I think what you ideally want is Locker to sort of come into his own offensively, and then Santana sort of be is that short side platoon DH, or you sort of keep Santana's glove in the lineup at first base against lefties, and then Locker is a DH, so then Locker is playing DH against lefties, first base against righties. They sort of have that. Rest of the infield, Ketel Marte, Nolan Arenado, Geraldo Perdomo. Marte and Perdomo, two great bats in the middle infield. Can't really get much better than that, realistically, but uh, Perdomo's coming off a career year, so maybe he regresses a bit, but I still think he's a very good hitter, like high floor with his strikeout and walks. You can see more free passes than strikeouts actually, and the power really came into his own, and that's why FIFA Plus is so high on him. But even if this was like 0%, he's probably still an average hitter, just because like he's walking a ton, not striking out that much. Yeah, Leonardo again, you're sort of hoping for a bounce back offensively. But yeah, he's still a good glove at third base. In the outfield, I have Alec Thomas, Jordan Lawler, and Corbin Carroll. Carroll might miss opening day, but I believe Vangast has him in the starting lineup. So I sort of just I wasn't sure if he would miss opening day, so I sort of just deferred to that. So I have him in the starting lineup. If he misses opening day, then you sort of have Jorge Barosa and or Tim Tawa filling in, which is going to be really rough in the outfield. So maybe if that happens, you maybe consider Welchmit, calling him up straight from Double A, just to see what you have out of him. If Corbin Carroll misses time, like, even if he doesn't miss time, like you can sort of make that work if you platoon Alec Thomas with Jordan Lawler at center field, and then you slot in Welchmit as an everyday left fielder. But I think Welchmit, he does need a little bit more time at AAA, so like he's definitely handled Double A, but you sort of need to see a little bit more from him at AAA. So I think you can slot him in there, and if Watchman breaks at AAA, then and like Al Thomas and or Jordan Lawler doesn't hit well, then you can very easily just call him up like quickly, like end of April or May, like, and then Thomas and Lawler sort of platoon at center field. So yeah, that's the lineup rotation. Have Zach Gallen, Ryan Nelson, Soroka, Rodriguez, and Fott. Gallen isn't the best arm, but because he's been with the Diamondbacks for so long, I think he sort of ends up in that opening day starter role if Kelly isn't healthy. I know they announced, it's kind of funny because they did announce Kelly would be the opening day starter, and then Kelly got hurt and he might miss opening day, so you have to like, you're sort of scrambling is have to pick another guy. But yeah, Gallen, Nelson, Stroka, Rodriguez, Fight as a rotation. Not bad, but you're sort of hoping for more upside, and by the second half, you're getting Burns back. You're getting Kelly like pretty early on. So maybe like Soroka moves to bullpen as like a leverage arm, or maybe, and then maybe like Rodriguez, like when Burns come back, Rodriguez or Fott sort of moves in that long relief role. And then you sort of have like a pretty nice rotation there, and also a pretty decent bullpen too. Right now, I have Ginkle and Seawald in that sort of like that leverage role, but I do think Cade Stroud is the someone who's going to like take over the closer role relatively quickly. And that's why I have Quesada as an 8th inning guy rather than Seawold. Rest of the bullpen, Brandon Garcia, I covered him. Brandon Thompson, just an average, like, just an average bullpen arm, like BFIP 415. 100 is literally, BFIP minus of 100 literally means like your league average. And then Taylor Clark, solid arm. Juan Rio, very nice stuff. It's a ton of strikeouts, I believe. Like, he, not as much as you expect, but like he had very good stuff, but a ton of walks, and that sort of like limited him uh, overall. But he still had pretty decent peripherals, so I just try him out in the bullpen. Like, maybe he solves a walk issue, and then he really turns into a very nice setup man. Like, maybe he bumps Seawold out. And then Dubin, I covered him already. Like, non-roster invitee. The Diamondbacks don't really have that much bullpen depth, so I think Dubin can easily get a role in there. But he could also be Loizaga, who's also another non-roster invitee, or Andrew Hoffman, who's is someone I like. He not that great in the big leagues, but he was great in AAA. He has a very nice splitter that I really like. So yeah, could go a lot of different ways for this last bullpen spot. I went with Dubin, but you could go with a lot of different names. So as for the win projections, a lot of top end talent: Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, all projected for at least 4 wins. This is basically like all-star level. But other than that, like, Burns is only 2+ win player, and then it's like Moreno. Like, he hasn't proven he's been healthy, so that's why he's only 1.8. But if he's fully healthy, he's someone who can easily have a 3-win season. But yeah, not too much quality depth. So that's why the win projection, like 80 and 82, is actually like exactly the same as they were last year. But again, like, you're sort of hoping for a little bit more competitiveness. Like, again, like if Moreno has a 3-1 season, all of a sudden you're like 81-81. So yeah, there's like, it's like pretty decent. Like it's definitely average. Like, but it's very top heavy. So you're sort of hoping for like let's say Perdomo doesn't repeat this, and he's more of like this 2-1 guy. Then all of a sudden, like, you're kind of like struggling, and like Corbin Carroll, he's missing some volume. Let's say it's only like 3 wins out of him because like he's coming off injury. Maybe you're not getting the most out of him. Then you really like start to struggle. But yeah, it can go a lot of different ways for the Diamondbacks. Like, they could be contending for a wild card spot, but I think like with their bullpen, it's very hard to see that happening. So yeah, that's what I have for the Diamondbacks. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.